Some of the language that I used during the highly charged presidential campaign that ended last November has come in for criticism, and rightfully so. While I maintain profound differences of opinion with some of my critics, I regret the use of such language. I want to assure you that I understand the critical difference between the partisan rhetoric of a political contest and a diplomatic mission. Partisan rhetoric is not appropriate in achieving diplomatic progress, especially in a sensitive and strife-torn region like the Middle East. From my perspective, the inflammatory rhetoric that accompanied the presidential campaign is entirely over, and if I am confirmed, you should expect my comments to be respectful and measured. If confirmed, I will also faithfully observe
We are, if not now, American Jews against the occupation. David Friedman, you promote racism, fund illegal settlements. We will not be silenced. You do not represent us, and you will never represent us.
Israeli occupation is an injustice against Palestinians and a moral crisis for American Jews. Moral American Jews stand against occupation and against Friedman. Moral American Jews stand against Friedman.
Senator, if you send this man to Israel, you endanger millions of Palestinians and Israelis. American Jews stand against this man. We stand for freedom and dignity for all. Olam chesed yibana. We will build this world with love.
If confirmed by the Senate, I also intend to faithfully observe the directions given me by the President and the Secretary of State without regard to my personal opinions.
Mr. Friedman, have you ever issued a public apology for any of your insulting comments regarding others' views on Israel and Middle Eastern issues? And will you today reject those comments here?
I reject the...
Could you turn on your microphone, please, sir?
Yes, Senator, I have and will continue to reject the inflammatory comments. I have reached out over the last several months to a number of people who have been hurt by the things I've said or have communicated to me that they would like to speak with me. It includes the head of the Union of American Reform Rabbis. It includes members of the New York Board of Rabbis. It includes a personal meeting with Senator Franken. It includes a telephone call followed up by emails with Jonathan Greenblatt of the Anti-Defamation League. In at least the latter two cases, the apologies were fully accepted, and I expect on an ongoing basis that those relationships and others will be inclusive and respectful.
Sir, you and I both, from our family histories, know a lot about people demeaning folks. We know a lot about hate speech and hate words.
We do.
And we know that when people dismiss things as just words or, hey, it was just politics, that they are belittling actually the harm and the damage that can do to individuals and entire communities. You would agree with that?
I would.
You also attacked the State Department with a 100-year history. You said the State Department with a 100-year history of anti-Semitism promotes the payoffs of corrupt Palestinians in exchange for their completely duplicitous agreements to support a two-state solution. You also said after 4 months ago you gave a speech in which you referred to the State Department as the State Department has been anti-Semitic and anti-Israel for the past 70 years. The ambassadors, Republican and Democrat, who wrote a letter that's already been entered in the record, but they really took issue with someone who is now going to be working with the State Department to cast such a broad net over the incredible professionals that work there, who often put themselves in harm's way for this country, who make sacrifices for their family of resources. They write in one paragraph, Mr. Friedman has accused President Obama, as we've already discussed, and the entire State Department of anti-Semitism. He's propagated the false conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton's advisor, Huma Abedin, has well-established ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. He's referred to the Anti-Defamation League as morons. He has characterized supporters of J Street, a liberal Jewish organization, as capos. The Jews who cooperated with the Nazis during the Holocaust, they say that these are extreme radical positions. Words like capos resonate with me in particular because they reflect words, again, that you and I both know personally from our family histories. How cruel, mean-spirited that kind of language is. You understand that, right?
I understand it, Senator, and in addition to understanding it, in the course of thousands of emails I received in response to those comments, I received an email from, some of those comments were unrepeatable, some were frightening, but a few of them were extraordinarily touching. One from a Holocaust survivor who wrote me and said that he survived the Holocaust, he loves Israel with all his heart. He disagreed with me on the best tactics to support Israel, but he felt that I had invalidated the good faith of his positions. And I can tell you, the last person in the world I would want to offend would be someone like that. And it is something that I deeply regret.
Thank you. I want to just end by reading you excerpts from a letter that I received from a constituent from Concord, New Hampshire. She says in this letter, as a Jewish constituent of yours whose great uncle survived the Holocaust, I'm appalled by David Friedman's likening of liberal Jews to Nazi collaborators. My great uncle Leon Messer was born in 1920 in Poland. He was interned in the notorious Auschwitz concentration camp. He lost both his mother and his sister during the Holocaust. He was only able to survive due to his talent for fixing watches. She goes on to say, it's such a shame that someone who survived the brutality of the Nazi regime and who lost so many loved ones in the Holocaust would be disparaged today by the Israeli ambassador nominee, David Friedman, as a capo or Nazi collaborator, simply for standing up for what he believes is right. Mr. Friedman, what do I tell Alicia, my constituent, about why she should feel differently, that you could, in fact, represent her and that you're not disparaging people who have her views?
I will be happy to give to you my number, and I would apologize to her personally. I'm sorry she feels that way, and I respect her feelings, and I'd like to make amends.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you.
Thank you. Before turning to Senator Flake, I didn't use any of my time for questioning. It's just an observation. First of all, thank you for being here. I know we had a very good meeting. You're here today having to recant every single strongly held belief that you've expressed, almost. And I'm just curious about this job and its importance to you to be willing to recant every single strongly held belief that you've had. I just wonder if you'd share that with us, because it is interesting to listen, and you know, you've done a lot of that, and I appreciate that. And sometimes when people run for public office, they say things and they have to massage them to a degree, but this is fairly extraordinary, and I would wonder if you would share with us why you're willing to do that, to serve in this capacity.
The opportunity to serve my country as ambassador to Israel would be really the fulfillment of a life stream, of a life's work.
And I know that this terrain has already been traveled in the hearing, but if I could, I'd like to go out and just talk a little bit about the Bet El settlement.
Yes, sir.
And some of the comments from people who are out there. Bet El is training students, for example, to, quote, successfully delegitimize the notion of a two-state solution and creating facts on the ground in the face of the international community's desire to uproot us. Can you talk about comments like that coming out of the Bet El community in Ramallah, and your views on those comments in terms of its implications for reaching a two-state solution?
I think they're a challenge among many to achieving a two-state solution. I should point out that my affiliation with Beit El is as the president of the American Friends of Beit El Yeshiva Center. We support a Talmudic academy and a boys' high school and a girls' high school, and it primarily derives from my commitment to Jewish education. The quality of those schools are excellent, and everything that we've given money to has been in the nature of gymnasiums, dormitories, dining rooms, classrooms, things like that. So my philanthropic activity there has not been connected to their political activity, which I really had no part in.
If the land in Bet El was included in a two-state solution and that land had to be returned to the Palestinians, would you support the return of that land to the Palestinians?
In the context of a consensual, fully agreed to two-state solution?
That's correct.
Yes.
You would.
Yes.
Thank you.